The world as we perceive it is what it is, but it's based on your perception. So, from the understanding of perception in the context of your subconscious conviction, it becomes different depending on how you choose to view things. So if you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes. And that is all about your perception, which stems from your subconscious conviction, which is all about what general state of energy that you maintain and sustain within you. But if you feed yourself constantly with a resolution that exceeds the rendition of a natural presentation of the world then becomes low quality in a contrasting world. Because the universe and the human experience is something that is created in contrast. Without contrast, we would not have anything. We wouldn't have any flavor, variety, color, lighting, setting, anything. Distance, everything is an illusion of light, which is created in various frequencies that absorb or repel colors. And that is what gives us dimensions that we relate to in a third dimension. It's all a hologram. It's all a hoax, basically. It doesn't exist. But the mind and the laws of physics makes for things to be solid, and we can experience the third dimension on a human experience. But if you, let's put it in a description like you watch nature shows for an extended period of time each day, like 8 hours of watching nature shows shot in 8K. That is a rendition and a resolution that exceeds whatever you will experience in nature as a human being, as you experience things with your eyes, as things are presented to you in reality. So what it makes is it dulls everything down. The colors are lower, the quality, the crispiness, the detail, everything becomes worse. It's like you need glasses and you have the glasses on, so you get perfect vision with definition, detail, and color when you're looking at that 8K video. But it's like you keep watching that 8K video, but you take off the glasses as to stop watching the 8K video and start looking at reality. The forest and the grass and the bees and the flowers. And if you understand that, you will also understand what happens when you feed yourself with social media, with faces and bodies that are in perfect position and rendered, polished and manipulated, always unnatural. That will become something that is so extremely destructive. It is so destructive. And this is what happens in the world. This is why people have plastic surgery and alter things. I have nothing against surgery, actually. Like, If a woman has children and breastfeeds and the breasts have changed, the experience of physical alteration from everything, and you want to adjust that, that's not a problem. If you're born in a certain way with something that can help you in some way, that's not a problem. But to have a face that is just a face, that's how you look, there's no problem with it. The only problem is that you compare that to a rendition, a false rendition, a momentary snapshot of what is allegedly a perfection, which is complete bullshit. But the mind will accept that as you accept that as this is what you eat, this is what you feed yourself with. That's why it's called a social feed, because this is what you feed yourself with. All of my experience in life and all of my insights and all of my greater understanding in how the human experience works, that makes me feel good and develop and evolve and become authentic and to accept myself for who I am and love myself and embrace and celebrate myself for who I am as a human being in my unique expression, comes from what I have been feeding myself. And that it has been just things that give me a greater understanding. Like, I love Ram Dass, and some of his recorded lectures that are on YouTube are 3 hours. And many of those I've listened to 10 times each. So that's 30 hours of the same lecture because I wanted to absorb everything about it. And that's just one lecture. I've listened to hundreds of lectures and I've studied and I've reflected back to what does that have to teach me? What can I learn from this? And the more I studied this and the more I've learned about his teachings, which is ultimately to understand myself, and to understand yourself is not to gain more knowledge. To understand yourself is to renunciate all the definitions that are untrue about yourself and come to the soul core of who you are and start to feed yourself spiritually and start to feed yourself with love, with self-love, and just give yourself love. And society has a big problem with that. I have experienced people that have commented on my website claiming that my website is an ego thing, that it's all about me. But the website is actually all about you, because the website has been my process of breaking free from a destructive thought process, a destructive subconscious, from destructive conditioning that I've laid on the table as clear and simple and as authentic as I could have done it. And that's what makes somebody perceive that as all ego is them being all ego. Because if you are all ego, all you see is all ego. If you are all soul, all you see is all soul. Because you are what you eat and you project who you are and you get a reflection back of what you maintain and sustain and perceive inside yourself. That's how it works. And when I say that you have to feed yourself with self-love, that is all in appreciation for who you are as natural and as unevaluated as possible, which means no comparison. There's no outer image to compare yourself to. You just compare yourself with yourself. That is giving yourself love. And most people, if you say, take a finger and point to yourself. Many people would point to themselves, here I am, but that's not who you are. And if you keep feeding yourself, and if you are in that understanding about, I need to feed myself and give myself love, you're just giving yourself a bigger head. You're just increasing your ego because you don't know who you are. And that's a problem today. And the problem is that people then make the choice not to feed themselves, not to acknowledge themselves, because they don't want to feed the ego, because we really don't want that, because it doesn't feel good. So they don't feed themselves at all, because they don't want to be self-centered. But you are supposed to be self-centered, and you are supposed to feed yourself and give yourself love and praise all day long, just knowing who you are. If you know who you are and you feed the right place, you give back to the source of love that gives you all the love, and you give gratitude and everything back. God is love. This is God. This is soul. This is who you are. Without comparison, without a rendered exceeding definition of anything that you could possibly measure up to, because it's unnatural. Authentic and natural is authentic and natural. It is something that you can only learn by experience. This is not something you find on a tweet, on this video. This is just me trying to tell you that I have lived the life where I have just looked for acknowledgement and appreciation and praise everywhere outside of myself. And even the acknowledgement and praise and celebration I have received, I have pushed away. So I haven't absorbed anything, and I haven't given myself anything. And that made my life completely depressed and wanting to kill myself every single day for many, many years. No wonder I was all empty out of self-love. To be full of self-love. Oh, he's so full of himself. Yeah, that's not a good thing if you think you are here. If you think you are your identity. But if you know and feel and come back to source and love and soul and know that this is who I am, then you're supposed to be so full of yourself. You're so supposed to be, like Oprah says, your cup runneth over. That's what that means. You give yourself so much praise and so much self-love that you have to give. That's what it is. And that's very, very hard to do if you keep comparing yourself. Because as you compare yourself, you're putting yourself down. Because you're looking at a higher definition that is forever unattainable. You're just raising the bar all the time. And when you come close to meeting that bar, you just push that up a notch all the time. That's what I've done for 41 years. So please listen to my idiot experience as I'm starting to learn to appreciate and give myself love and fill myself with self-appreciation. Because that is what I'm sending out and getting back. So my life will be joyful and happy the right way. I will be happy and enjoying myself just for being who I am. And then everything is a bonus. That's how it's supposed to be. Life is supposed to be great and loving and appreciative and a great experience with a bunch of bonuses. Not at the bottom receiving stuff that makes you happy, and once the stuff is gone, you're miserable and at the bottom again. That's low self-worth. So you need to get worthy and get up to the surface of good enough. And that is another conversation that won't fit in this video, but you can find it in my other videos and on the website transmutation.se. Please check it out. I could not in the world communicate my experience and give you my insights without me as a reference and doing it in my artistic expression as I've done it. So please take me out of the picture and just refer back to yourself. I didn't listen to Ram Dass or Alan Watts or whoever with all ego in comparison. I really wanted to become free. I really wanted to lose my negative aspects. I really wanted to come close to loving myself. I really wanted to live a happy, joyful life. That's why I did it. And maybe the website doesn't give you anything, but maybe there's something on there that will give you insight into something that leads you forward. But to conclude this video, I would suggest that, because this is one of the things that, perhaps the greatest thing that has actually helped in my development and helped me to come to the place where I am today, where I can fill myself with love. I can be doubtful and I can feel anxiety and I can feel worry, but I can get out of it in like that, because I know the tools and the darkness doesn't grow within me. I don't let it grow anymore like that, because I know what it is and I know how it works. But yeah, the main thing is that I just stopped using Facebook and I stopped using Instagram. And I got rid of the TV. I have a laptop that I write on and I have a phone. My phone is, it doesn't have internet. I go to the library and I use their Wi-Fi to upload things and to check my email and do some bank errands. If you ask anyone to like, yeah, you want to go and hang out and sit on the grass and like have a picnic? Yeah, sure. Why not? Sounds cool. I'll bring my laptop and you bring yours and we can have those in our laps and just work on the computer at the same time. Or maybe I want to take a walk with my baby in the baby stroller. Yeah, just bring the laptop and have the laptop on the baby, on top of the baby, and just browse the internet and stuff. Or maybe you're heading towards the bus, to take the bus downtown to check out something. Yeah, why not watch a movie while walking to the bus on your laptop? Everybody would agree that this is just insane. Who does that? Yeah, everybody does that. Everybody does that on a miniature touchscreen laptop right in front of their face instead of connecting to life. And then they come home and feel distressed and worried and disconnected from reality. And they feel like nature is something that we piss on and burn down because it doesn't matter, because we have 8K videos of frogs and birds showing on the big screen TV at home. Can you see where I'm getting at? Can you see that if we entertain this and we continue with this, we kill ourselves because we are in such unappreciative, ungrateful state in relation to the paradise that we live in, which is absolutely nothing without other people, without connecting, without sharing, without love. And everybody's like, yeah, I need new antidepressants because the old ones stopped working. Life is from the inside out. And this is what we really need to do. This is what we really need to learn, or maybe unlearn. Yeah, I could go on a rant here, but you gotta connect to life and connect to people. You get what you give, and you only have one energy, and you can only direct that energy into one direction. And what you give is what you get back. And if you give to something that doesn't return love, because your energy is love, your energy is soul, and it's pure, loving, creative consciousness, just like God. Your energy is God. God is energy. God is pure, loving consciousness, awareness, at your disposal, at your will. So you have to make the right choices. But if you continue to give your energy to a source that doesn't give anything back, only in the idea of that it does, because it satisfies your mind with colors and cool views and exciting music. There is nothing wrong with a movie. There is nothing wrong with watching a series or anything, but not as in a majority giving up life itself. Stop being on the phone all the time. Stop being on the computer all the time, and stop calling it a phone, because it is a computer. Start to connect with each other. If you put down the phone and it starts to become an itch, which it will for the majority of people, you are highly addicted. And if there is somebody who wants, this individual says, I really want to get addicted, but I really don't know what I want to get addicted to. I'm choosing between my phone and heroin. I would say, yeah, go for heroin any day, because it's more healthy. Because the phone is so much more destructive, as it gives you a wrong conception of how to appreciate yourself and feel grateful for life. If you use it incorrectly, and if you look at things that are so high defined that it makes you, in contrast, be ungrateful for the reality in the third dimension as we live in and should celebrate and praise and be grateful for. So with heroin, you destroy your body and your mind, but at least you know what you're doing. It's not a big secret what's going on, really. But the phone is devious. It is devious. Social media is devious, because we are so easily addicted to entertainment, to be entertained with colors and flashing images, like kids sitting for 3 hours watching YouTube with cars backing up over balloons that pop. That's idiocracy. That's an idiot society. We're already there. That's not fun. It is not exciting. It is not giving. It is not creative. It is not inspiring. And the world is so full of fear, because people entertain and consume a lot of fear. They watch a lot of murder. They watch a lot of darkness. So this becomes a subconscious conviction, which makes you suspicious of other people. And that makes us lose connection. So if somebody that you never met before smiles at you on the street and says, hello, then you shy away. What's wrong with this human being? Is this a murderer? Yeah, that's you. It's not them. It's because you entertain fear within you. If you lose fear and you live in love and peace and just want to connect and just want the world to be more social, and yeah, it's not a problem. You just want to talk to everybody. I stopped yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, because there was a guy who has a nice garden, and I just talked to him. And he's a senior citizen, and we had a nice conversation, which led into some mutual interests in what it's like to be a human. And he said, yeah, just come by for coffee someday. Would be nice to have to continue this conversation. And I was just there, like 1.5, 2 hours ago, and I met his wife, and I had some homemade cinnamon rolls and coffee. And I didn't kill them afterwards. Can you imagine? And we have no obligations to each other. I don't owe them any money now, and they don't owe me any money. And we have not decided that we are gonna meet each other for 2-3 days a week, or else this is not gonna work. You can just be open and social, and things happen, and yeah, that's what you're looking for in the world. But everybody is so closed off, and everybody's so open and social when they get 5 beers or 10 glasses of wine out in the bar. But then the cognition is out, and they behave like Neanderthals and vomit on the street with kebab all over their face. All right, I feel like this video is just, but if you get a grand perspective on things and you see what is actually going on and how destructive some things are and how we are losing connection and how simple and loving and precious and life can be, then you get a bit frustrated when you see people like throwing their lives away. When you see the father walking from daycare with his phone in his hand, all like in a box, really fast, outside my kitchen window, and his 2 daughters that he picked up from daycare are like after the daddy, and like I see them want to grab his hand, but they cannot keep up because he is in such a hurry, and he's in such focus on whatever the shit he's looking at on his social media, and he just want to get home. And they have just longed for their daddy all day long, and he just neglects them. And why does he do that? Because he hates his daughters? No, because he doesn't acknowledge himself. Because it's all up here. He doesn't know shit about who he is. He has no self-love. He doesn't acknowledge and praise and celebrate himself. And perhaps that is because he never got any real love from his mother. Who knows? But he needs to acknowledge himself because he's now a grown man and he has children. I've been through this myself. I can see it. But you have to make a stand and stop and just look at what you're doing. What am I entertaining and sustaining all day long? Because the kids are suffering. Life is all about choice. Life is all about choice. You choose to be happy. You choose to be sad. And some people will disagree and say, yeah, but you didn't have my upbringing. Yeah, you didn't have mine. We cannot do comparative suffering. That's impossible. But you can heal, and you can release, and you can understand and forgive, and you can change. That's your choice. And then you choose a life full of happiness and joy because you do what you need to do. Like watching a Ram Dass lecture that is 3 hours long 10 times. You do what you need to do. And if you feel like I really need to watch that the 11th time because I feel like there's something more I can get out of this. Watch it 11 times. But children have no choice. They are stuck with you. They cannot say, all right, this is not working out. I am being mistreated, so I am leaving. But many kids today are, by committing suicide. They are not sick. They are not mentally disturbed. They are just not being seen and given love because the parents are not acknowledging and giving themselves love, so they cannot give what they do not have. And that's all about humility, and that's all about what God is about, why we need a connection to God and be humble to the source of all creation that gives us everything, especially children. That's what it's all about. I feel like I want to stop this video now. I hope somebody watches it, and I hope somebody gets a reaction that makes them realize that, what am I doing? And if you are a parent like this and you are taking your kid to psychiatric care and giving them medicines, maybe you need to take a look at this first in all humility and gratitude. And maybe you can see that there is something that you can do at home to get closer to love, which heals everything. And maybe the fact is that your kids are not in need of healing anything. Maybe it's just you. And when you've done that, your kids are free because they are not living with a double standard of somebody giving them so much love, but really, truthfully, aren't, because they don't have self-love, acknowledgement, and appreciation and gratitude for who they are. So what are they giving? Honestly, hands on heart, what are you giving your child? Are you full of self-love? Then you can give love. If your cup runneth over, you have love to give to your children. If not, it is very possible that you are giving your children a bunch of demands to meet up to an expectation that is actually yours. So you want to bring your kids down, actually, as you wish to bring yourself up to make everything equanimous and harmonized. That's projection and not taking responsibility for what you are in conflict over inside yourself, that you give your children. That's karma. So take care of yourself and learn who you are and give yourself love. And your children will be free, and your children will grow up as they are, in not a lot of control, but a lot of endorsement, encouragement, praise, love, appreciation, and just be who they are naturally without comparison, looking at themselves in the mirror with high definition. I get emotional because I have a big perspective on things. And a big perspective is not theory. It is not an ideology. It is emotional. That's what it is to be human. If you're not emotional, you are AI. And then you are the phone. All right, Take care of yourself. Show yourself love. Thank you.